Most personal finance advice centers on the 50-30-20 rule, a framework popularized by Senator Elizabeth Warren in her book All Your Worth. The math is straightforward. Allocate 50% of your after-tax income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt. However, in high-cost cities like New York or Los Angeles, rent alone often consumes 40 to 50% of a paycheck. When you add utilities and groceries, the housing market alone immediately breaks the formula. Millions of people abandon this budget within 2 months because the math doesn't reflect their reality. Today, we're going to replace that rigid rule with a customized automated system. To begin, you'll need your smartphone, your banking app, and a calculator. Most failed budgets result from applying a static formula to a dynamic economy. We are going to build a system that adapts to your environment. Step 1 is the reality audit. Open your banking app and review every transaction from the last 7 days. At this stage, we're just looking for raw data. We need to set a high bar for what constitutes a need. This category is strictly for rent, essential groceries, utilities, and minimum debt payments. If you can live without it for a week, it is a want. The data often reveals sneaky wants, expenses that feel like survival in the moment. A daily coffee run at 7 a.m. is often the easiest place to see this distinction in practice. Digital subscriptions like Netflix or Spotify frequently hide in the needs column because they are automatic, but they fall strictly into the discretionary category. Review your transactions again and create a mental or physical list. We are looking for a color-coded split, one for absolute survival and one for everything else. You cannot fix a budget until you establish this baseline. Confronting your actual spending is the only way to build a plan that won't collapse. This shows the original 50-30-20 split, a starting point. In expensive cities, we adjust the ratios. Expanding the needs bucket to 60% and shrinking wants accounts for urban rent. For aggressive debt payoff, shift the weight, capping wants at 20% to move 30% toward balances. Take your after-tax income and calculate your 3 custom numbers now. The final total must equal exactly 100%. A financial system only survives if it is molded around your specific geographical and economic reality. Aiming for a 20% savings rate while living paycheck to paycheck often leads to immediate burnout. If the target feels impossible, most people simply quit. Instead, set a micro-target for your initial savings bucket. Choose a percentage so small that you are guaranteed to succeed. Starting at 5% allows you to lock in the behavior. Once the habit is stable, you can scale to 8, 12, and eventually 20%. At this stage, the consistency of the habit is more valuable than the specific dollar amount you are saving. In your banking app, navigate to the automatic transfer or recurring payment settings. Set up a recurring transfer equal to your micro-target. Schedule it to trigger the day your paycheck hits. Hit Schedule to lock the system. Moving the money before you have the chance to touch it removes human willpower from the equation entirely. Automation ensures wealth builds by default rather than by effort. Not that your savings are handled automatically. Whatever remains in your checking account is yours to spend without guilt. To recap the system, we audited the data, customized the ratios, set a micro-target, and automated the workflow. Drop your new custom percentage split in the comments. Seeing how others adjust their ratios helps everyone build better systems. If you built your system with us today, subscribe to the channel. Re-release a new personal finance breakdown every week. Progress beats perfection. A small, automated habit you actually keep is more valuable than a perfect plan you abandon. See you in the next video.